Hey,
it's the internet, and we're on it. What do you think of that?
you wanted the best? You got the best. The hottest podcast in the world. Kids on the Escalator.
That's right. It is. It's Tuesday night. We're live. The Leafs are out, so fuck them.
Oh, and, let's not even discuss that anger issue. And
so we're not up against any kind of crazy playoff game. Go Jets! Our guest today will be on that train for sure. We've got lots to cover today, man. This is another Tuesday Night Live rad show. We're welcoming some friends back to the show. We've got Mr. Brent Fitz joining the equation. We've got.
What did you say? Jets? What? What were you talking about?
Yeah. We were talking a bit of Jets, but enough about that. I say Jets in 6 because
immediately to the Jets. Yeah.
Fuck Montreal. Anyways,
whoa! It's pretty. He's got some
harsh,
heavy opinions here. I can appreciate
that. That was pretty harsh, man. Don't be like all these guys in the comment section on Sportsline, man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, wait till this comment section. You're gonna
listen here. I blame the Canucks because they gave away Tyler Toffoli. Anyways, enough about that. It's Kiss. Kiss, all things Kiss, and it's an encyclopedia. I'm just going to leave the room and let you three chat. But, I'm there, but I'm late. As I've said many times in this podcast, I am the youngest person on the panel and later to Kiss than y'all. So, but we'll just keep going with it. Introduce yourselves, hot off the Toque today with our friend, Ken Tizard, who was on just a couple weeks ago. Hi, Ken.
Nice.
It's the fellas. Hi, fellas. That's Todd. That's Brent. Say something to the
Hi,
people.
I'm Todd Kerns. I'm sporting this nifty Kiss tour jacket from.
Here it is.
Was it 76? 77. Sorry. And Brent's
good year.
And Brent's copying me.
How old was everybody in 1976? That's on this panel.
I was 37.
I was 6.
Do the math.
I was 21. I was legally aged.
6
I
was
was
a
legally
good
aged.
age. Whatever, like. Todd and I are very close in age, and we were ideally planted on Earth just in time for Star Wars and Kiss.
Yeah, those were the two big things at that era too, and that was the two things. I think we've discussed this before. That when you're young, you really bond with you find your clique with kids who like Star Wars and Kiss. It was a really cool thing. Still is. Like when I see that logo behind me there, it just makes me want to just pick up the guitar and play. It doesn't I don't see the word Kiss. It sounds weird, but the image inspires me to do musical things. It's just one of those.
You see Knights in Satan's Service.
I thought you joke about that too. Knights in Satan's Service. Luckily, my parents weren't like that, but other parents were. And man,
it makes you want to play guitar and then talk to the devil. Apparently,
yes, worship Satan.
Yeah, so we it was due for a Kiss chat because it's you guys are on and you've been busy and you've been doing stuff. We want to. You've been busy down there doing stuff. And so we wanted to leave you alone, but now we're like, well, we're going to bug him again because it's Kiss time.
Has there been a Kiss chat on here before? Or are you saying this is
random?
This is the first.
There's random Kiss moments.
Official Kiss chat. I got you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I came prepared. I came prepared for it because I brought this.
That's awesome. Look at that. Tell us a bit about that.
It's there. Can you get it? Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah, we got it.
It's one of the Gene Simmons axe basses that I'm the kind of guy I keep telling myself I don't need things, which I've been pretty good at more lately, but every time I was at NAMM one year and I walked by and God damn it. Okay, how much is that? I can't walk out of here without that. I was like, there's Paul Stanley guitars. There's an Iceman right there. You can see it. That guy right there. And there's another one over there. There's a few of those loitering around here. Oh, and that's an Ace Frehley Les Paul. Oh, that's over on that side.
Beautiful.
Right there. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, really. It's a little bit embarrassing.
Oh, it's awesome.
I also
not at all.
I love guitars on top of it all. So it's kind of like there's not just that. There's as you can see, a Bo Diddley. Where is it now? I'm trying to figure. There it is. The Bo Diddley rectangle guitar for some reason.
Oh yeah,
wow. There's a bunch of weird guitars in here. So yeah.
Look at Brent Donnelly. He's already checked out. He's like,
I'm just trying to see what I got for. What I got.
He's always doing that. I know.
What I got for Kiss merch. I'm trying to run a show here. You guys talk.
Have you ever used any of those guitars or the bass live?
I've used the Paul Stanley guitars. I've never plugged this in, but a friend of mine is in a Kiss tribute band, and he borrowed this to play, of which I never got any photos or anything. So I've always meant to go to like, what did it play okay? Because I have there's an Eddie Van Halen right there. You can see it's good. I've never plugged that thing in. It's like I don't feel qualified to play it. So so some stuff is definitely for looks, and other ones I'm like, I have to plug that in. I have to play it. But yeah, this, like I said, this guy, when I'm doing a proper gig, I can't really figure out when I should. Hey, Slash, I'm going to bust out this guy tonight.
Yeah, no, you're not.
He wouldn't even notice for like half the show.
For
like half the show, and then out of nowhere, he'd look at me like, and he would just be so confused.
But aren't they the only band in the world that everyone accepts it when you like, even Slash are like, all right, boys, it's Kiss night. So, we're all dressing
you
up.
get royalty checks from Gene Simmons coming to you in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. The Kiss guys are really good to Slash that way. Actually, they've always been, I don't know if you know, there's a great story about how Slash once pissed off Paul Stanley back in the day because I can't remember exactly what he had said, but so they had a moment where things were not good, but they've always been pretty cool since. And we've played quite a few festivals together, and they've always been really, really mildly chummy, actually.
I love
Slash has been known to wear Kiss shirts on stage.
Of course. Yeah, he was wearing one the other day.
Yeah. The greatest story, anyone who's promoted a show will understand the value of towels. And I know this sounds odd, but I did that great story of Gene charging the opening act. Like, okay, you were making $400 and now you're making $300 because you threw 5 towels into the crowd. And they were like, oh, shit. Like they learned the lesson right there. And, the funny thing about that is that if Kiss isn't traveling with them, they've had to hire somebody to provide those towels. So you throw them out into the audience, you're wrecking someone's business. It's like throwing Skeletron comics out for free. Machete. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I was like, oh, okay. So that's Gene Simmons.
Yes.
That's the guy. And it's right. It's really, really
responsible adult Gene Simmons.
That's right. All right, fellas, we got lots to cover. There's a bunch of different subjects here, but let's go with Intro to Kiss. Because we got merch and a whole shit ton of stuff to go. We'll start with our guests. Intro to Kiss. Fitzy, lead the charge as you're a kid in Winnipeg. Go ahead.
Is that the actual album, Brent?
Yeah, it's been through a war. It's been from Winnipeg down to Los Angeles and Vegas. So that's my first album. I still have it. And what I like about it is if I was to put it on, and I do have my turntables right there. I'm so used to all the little scratches and the skips that I almost miss when I don't hear them the way I heard them as a kid.
It's kind of part of the song, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Gun was purchased at the little, remember Sam the Record Man?
Mm-hmm.
Sam the Record Man.
Did somebody introduce you, Fitz? Did somebody introduce you to Kiss? Like sort of that introduction. How did you find Kiss? Yeah. How did you find Kiss?
My best friend growing up, Brad Smith, who was literally kitty cornered across the street from me. We're a year apart. He's a year older. And but we just had the same, everything we did from when we were 5 years old until high school was pretty much the same every day. So we discovered Kiss sort of together. So I can't tell you if he turned me on to Kiss or what, but it was just kids in the neighborhood. Right? Because that's how, there was less distractions of phones and things. I mean, if one kid had a skateboard, the next thing you knew, you had a skateboard. Oh, that guy had that bike. I want that bike too. Yeah. BMX or whatever. And Kiss was a culture of, in the neighborhood, there was only so many ways to see Kiss. And so around that time, that's 78. So we're going to say I'm 8 years old, 78 or 77 when this came out. But Todd and I we can go all over the map about lots of things, and I don't want to get too off topic. But Kiss Meets the Phantom is a very important movie for kids of a certain age, and Todd and I will never tire of watching that absolute genius disaster of a great movie.
I'm with you. It was so good. It's so good. It's you can't, if it's on and you walk in the room, you have to sit down and watch the whole thing. You have to watch the rest of it. Of course. It's addicting, and you're right, man. Yeah, it's awesome.
You're looking for someone, but it's not Kiss.
That's good.
Chris Machete in Ingersoll. Tell me what's going on. Caller, tell me about your introduction to Kiss.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, Julie Jim says that Love Gun was her first Kiss record also. And But, I didn't like Kiss, but I still love that movie. Wow, there you go.
Wow. Wow. That's
Yeah.
There's our first.
That's what
That's our buddy Mike there, right on. Yeah. Okay. So I was just walking in the mall in London. I was in London, Ontario at this time with my mom. We were in White Oaks Mall. I remember the name of the mall. And there was a huge stand-up Kiss Love Gun display in the window of a record store. I can't remember the name of the record store, but I saw it and I said, I want that. And eventually I did get that. And it was that album. No, it was an 8-track because my parents had an 8-track player in the car. And we traveled around a lot, right? I was in the backseat of the car a lot. So I guess they figured if they put the Kiss 8-track in, I would shut up in the backseat. I wouldn't be, we there yet? Are we there yet? So yeah, so that's my first Kiss experience. So mine was Love Gun as well.
Wow.
So for anyone that doesn't know, look at these. What the hell is this? Here's an 8-track.
That's an 8-track.
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful.
This is not the first one I ever had, but I found this years later. But it's pretty cool to have Dress to Kill.
That's really
awesome, dude.
Todd, what was going on in Lanigan?
Actually, I was in Lynn Lake, Manitoba at this time. So crazy northern Manitoba. And this is a really interesting thing to talk about. I haven't really thought about it until you asked me to be a part of this. But the first time anybody introduced me to Kiss, it was a kid at school. And I was really into rock and roll. Like I was really into the Beatles and bands like that. Basically all the old school, the 4 original food groups of rock and roll. And somebody, I remember Kiss was starting to really kind of take off, especially amongst the kids. And I remember being kind of like not into it, like kind of turned off by it. It like kind of seemed like I don't know if I was like, this seems ridiculous. So I'm into, like the Stones and the Beatles or something like that. But I remember being kind of like turned off just by the image for some reason. Like Gene Simmons, I just thought was super crazy. But I do remember, I don't remember what the actual turn of events was, but it feels like Kiss Meets the Phantom was a big part of that actual change. But I know we went to the Bay, Hudson's Bay Company. This is where we had to find records back then. It was like buying Kiss Alive 1, I think, was the first one, which works out great because it kind of acts as the greatest hits of the first 3 albums.
Yeah.
But I know that there was like a catalog of music already there, like so that every weekend we went back and we're like, and it felt like we could never run out of Kiss records to buy. So I remember, it feels like solo albums and Kiss Alive and Love Gun. Like it must be around 77 that we got into all that. But by the time 78 rolled around, we were watching stuff roll out in real time. I think it's sort of a blur because it just seems like I remember having like Kiss Alive 1 on vinyl. I remember playing it all the time, like obnoxiously playing it in our house. And my mother was like, what kind of accent is that? Because Paul Stanley screaming. And I remember having Hotter Than Hell on 8-track. And I remember having Peter Criss's solo album on 8-track. I don't know why they're just so randomly like a couple of 8-tracks in there, but everything else was pretty much vinyl. Yeah.
I had a cousin, and it was Kiss Alive was the first album, and it was like, what is this? And just the dress up and all the rest of it. It was like, what? But you couldn't actually see them. I never. We'll get into the live side of it. I was still too young at that point, as we've covered. But I definitely. It was a mystery. It was like this mystery comic book, that came along. So it was, but I really don't. I was late to all the first albums. By the time that happened, then I had to retro myself.
We all did, I think, yeah.
And then go through that process. I don't think it was until, if I'm being honest, like Jason Parson was walking around, Chris, in Caesarea, Ontario, with the Ghetto Blaster blasting Animalize and everything Kiss ahead of that, that I was really diving in. And by that point, the makeup was starting to come off. So
there's a whole non-makeup period that acts as sort of a gateway drug. So kids that were watching the Power Hour or Headbangers Ball, they probably didn't even really connect that Kiss was the same Kiss that, they just saw another great, hard rock band with long hair playing metal tunes or whatever. And that's the same Kiss that was around a few years ago that had makeup on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you guys sort of technically touched on your first album, but what was your actual first Kiss album? I guess in general, that was Love Gun for you, Fitz?
Mine.
Love Gun for everybody? Okay.
Yeah, except me was Kiss Alive 1 and yourself was Kiss Alive 1. As far as I remember, it's like I said, it's a bit of a blur where we kind of like, we got one and then realized there was this catalog to just go crazy on. Yeah. And it seemed like, you know, I mean, a lot of people talk about Kiss being like, well, it's all about visuals and stuff like that. I go, well, you didn't have visuals. We had pictures to look at, a 2-dimensional photo to look at on the cover of the album. We knew the songs inside and out still to this day. You know, it's like, that's what was important to us.
Alive was cool too, because it had that booklet that came with it. That gave you those wicked pictures, and it also was the gatefold opening and showed you the other 3 albums that you needed to buy, right? Because it showed them in there, and then it had those handwritten letters from each member of the band, where, you know, I'm Ace and I'm from space and I'm doing this and that. And it was so cool, right? Yeah, the lore of it for young kids was really cool. The whole package of their album.
The first live album, both live albums have booklets in them. Like it came with a booklet, so it was like really. Actually, the second one comes with this. I bought a repro thing somewhere.
Oh, nice. Those are the stickers. Are the tattoos or stickers?
Yeah. You could put these on as tattoos in the second Kiss Alive 2 album. Yeah. I just walked by my fridge and, I should take these.
Oh, man. Those are, yeah.
I'm hanging in my fridge. They've been there ever since I got them. I picked them up. Somebody made some repros. I think they're Japanese or something. I can't remember where I picked those up.
So there was a Rolling Stone put out something about the top. I was going to bring it up on here, but I don't want to interfere with the feed. So the Rolling Stone, they went to all the Kiss fans and everyone, and they took a poll as to the top 10 Kiss albums. So number 10, I'll get your thoughts on this, guys, as we go down the list. Number 10, Hot in the Shade.
Number 10?
Number 10.
So are you saying this is like top 10 Kiss albums of all time?
That's what they're saying. They polled the fans.
Wow. Okay.
And they got
I'm already afraid.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm a fan, but I wouldn't. I don't even know if that's even in my top 10. But
tough.
But here we go.
Here we go. Hot in the Shade. Alive 2.
Okay.
Rock and Roll Over
9?
at number 8.
Both of those, yes.
Creatures of the Night at number 7.
Okay.
Dress to Kill at number 6.
Okay.
Hotter Than Hell at number 5. Love Gun at number 4. Destroyer. Number 3. Someone just died.
Somebody did not agree with that Destroyer.
Kiss Alive. Right? Kiss Alive at Kiss Alive at number 2.
Okay.
And self-titled Kiss at number 1.
Okay. Huh.
That's an interesting conversation, because I've had this conversation many times, and this might lead everybody in this direction. I've kind of, in a really roundabout way, landed back on that first album as being one of my favorite albums, because I don't know if it's number 1 for me, but because when you look at that album, there's probably at least more than half, maybe like 90% of that album are classic Kiss songs that could be played today, from Deuce, Strutter, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, Cold Gin.
And you mean Kiss playing it in their set currently?
Currently, they could play all those songs and the fans would be totally happy. So there might be, I think, Kiss in Time and maybe the Love Theme from Kiss are the only 2 songs that you kind of go,
Instrumental, right?
Yeah, the instrumental song. But I think, that brings up an interesting point. And that's why I think the live Kiss Alive 1 worked so well for me, is it introduced all that. And going back now, I feel like the first Kiss album, although sonically kind of is missing something that the later records definitely had, but it's a solid contender for number 1. I'd be up for that.
Fitz, what do you think of that list?
It's weird that isn't it weird that Hot in the Shade is the only like non-makeup Kiss album?
Oh man, I thought Animalizer.
Maybe Todd and I would both.
Asylum?
I won't speak for Todd, but we've delved in the last several years with a lot of the non-makeup era Kiss, and I think it's safe to say that, I mean, most of the Kiss fans would probably want to put, other than Crazy Nights, all of the other records ahead of that. So, and you can't not. What about Revenge? I mean, I think Revenge. Okay, let's just say I think Asylum, for popularity. Animalized introduced a whole new generation. I think because Kiss really came back strong. And Look It Up.
Yeah, somebody just said that.
Great songs. All those songs on Look It Up are pretty strong. But Asylum also had really strong video, presence with Tears Are Falling. Maybe Tears Are Falling alone is one of the strongest 80s songs. And then to not include, now I like some of the Crazy Night stuff, and there's always debate as to why people don't like it. Maybe the heavy keyboard influence, but I remember, and maybe Todd, you can chime in on this, but when Revenge came out, the way they looked, which was very dark and back to a leather and a tough look, I was like, fuck, these guys, they're nailing it. The videos were a little darker and cool, and everybody looked really, I mean, it was kind of like the end of the 80s look and back to a different, more throwback to Kiss, even though it was non-makeup. And I think the songs on Revenge are really strong. So to not have Revenge or Asylum in there, I mean, if you had Eddie Trunk on here, he's going to tell you Asylum has to be on there. You know,
yeah, of course,
the top five.
Certainly, with it would be in place of Hot in the Shade. Not to say anything necessarily negative about Hot in the Shade, but
hey, listen, we're not saying Rolling Stone is right here, fellas. I'm just reading a list. I'm sure Eddie would debate that all the way around.
Well, at least they didn't put Destroyer as number one, which is such an easy choice. But generally, I think. Safe to say, and Todd and I both, like, we have a lot of similar experiences, like our whole, where we grew up, how we discovered Kiss, you know, with our friends, you know, similar albums and stuff. But we also both saw Kiss for the first time on the same tour.
You're blowing the next category. That's the next category, probably.
The next category is there.
Okay,
we'll get there once.
We'll lead up to it in a minute, but I'm just saying we had a lot of the same experiences leading up as Kiss fans. So we definitely probably felt the same about in the 80s. We were like, well, I still love Kiss, and you might not have, you know, there might have been a few things you might have been panning a little bit, like some of the, you know, just the fact that the makeup was very strong, and then the 80s music, I still thought some of the songs were so fucking catchy, just as catchy as always. But, you know, there was definitely a lot more color and a lot more, you know, just extreme with video presence and less about the darker black and silver. But, you know, there was just different color schemes. Anyway, but I always thought the music still there was always a couple good songs on every record. And there's a couple good songs, at least on Hot in the Shade.
Chris, what do you think of that list?
Oh, I agree with everybody right there. Yeah, I don't know how you could put. There's so many more albums I would put in there before that one. Like, so even Lick It Up. I thought Lick It Up was when I remember when I heard Lick It Up, man. Just like and just that A chug. It was just like, yeah, all right, man, that's cool. It was really good. And then to top it off, you get to see everybody's faces, and they kind of stripped it down, and we're like, all right, here's the music. You know, other than my tongue, you know, you're not getting the old Kiss anymore. And I thought that was really imperative to me. That they did pull that off, because what a huge step. Imagine doing your whole career just, I don't know, doing one thing. So like dressing up, that's huge. It's not like, well, you know, we played like pop punk and now we're playing just straight punk. It's not like that kind of a change. No. It's like, hey man, we were dressed as characters, you know, and now we're just stripping it down and you just get the music and us standing there. So to me, that the fact, and me being a big Kiss fan, that they pulled that off was pretty intricate to me. And in their catalog, I think should kind of be respected because of that. And High Heels Lo-Fi, the chug. Kiss is darn good at the chug, and people love to sing along to Kiss also. So cheers, High Heels Lo-Fi. But yeah, so many more. And plus, as you guys were saying, Animalize had some great songs. Asylum. It was after Asylum that I actually stopped buying the albums, so I don't have any albums after Asylum. But Asylum had some wicked guitar stuff going on man.
Yeah. That was Bruce Kulick's first album, so
Bruce did some great stuff. I love in the Tears Are Falling video. I remember as a kid, like, where's my hand here? Where he does the thing, and then he switches his hand over top. Doodly doodly doo. Do you guys remember that? When he did that in the video, and it was like, whoa, see that?
We tell him to do that every time. How come you're not doing the thing? That's almost just the video.
Do it for everything. When he's cooking, when he's cooking food. Yeah, can you just switch
man?
Yeah. Can you do
so
that?
I thought that was really rad. So that's my take on it. I would just change, you know, when you get to the older ones, man, sometimes some of the albums is just memories to me, and there's times where I throw on Unmasked and I'm like, oh man, Unmasked, you know, I just love some of the jams on there. Just the guitars the production of it was more, the guitars were thin, right?
Yeah.
But if you would have beefed the guitars up on that album, I think it would have been a different angle on there.
I agree.
Yeah, we've yet to say, you just said Unmasked and Dynasty. How can we, like, because Dynasty was tough for me, and you know, anyone can chime in, Todd, about the disco, if you want to keep that bubble of when they went disco. But
I think we were too young to have strong opinions on things like that, weren't we? I was kind of like, I mean, my mom was spinning ABBA all day long, the Grease soundtrack, the Sgt. Pepper soundtrack from that movie with the Bee Gees. It was just everywhere, you know what I mean? So I
was cool with the Star Wars Miko theme. Dun, dun, dun,
yeah, they had a disco version of that too. Yeah, we were children. We were children. I wasn't having some hard stance about like, whatever. I just kind of, so when the Kiss record came out, which in retrospect feels like one of the first real time actual, like the new Kiss record is out, as opposed to like buying a Kiss record when there was like a whole ton of Kiss records to buy. It was sort of like, I think the solo albums, those came out real time for me too, where it was like, oh, we got to go buy those. But the Dynasty record was a huge record for us, for sure. And it still is in a lot of ways. Like, I still think there's great songs on there. Charisma.
Dude, yeah.
Ace Frehley's songs on that. Sure Know Something. Ace's songs on that record are great.
Save Your Love's a great tune.
That's a classic, yeah. Even his 2000 Man is still great.
Oh, the Stones cover. Yeah.
The Stones cover.
Brilliant stuff. Well, at that age, when I was a fan, sorry, at that age, because you're right about the Dynasty thing, man. Well, you can't like Dynasty. Dude, at that age, I was so hooked into Kiss that as long as they were 4 dudes there, the guys there playing their guitars, and it wasn't, I don't know, country music. I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved
I think
Hard Times was a big favorite.
We're too young to be like hardcore about like, well, I'm not listening to this. These guys, it's like I was still a child. Even in The Elder, I was like kind of like it's a new Kiss record, so I buy it and I listen to it and I know every note of it. It's just that was the law, really. It wasn't until later on where it became, oh, this is visibly a different time, or like people have a different take on Kiss at that point.
What was everyone's first thoughts on them losing the makeup? Necessary? Uncomfortable as a fan? Or did you buy in? Or did the music do the talking for you? Or what was your thoughts when they decided?
I gave my thoughts on that already. So
to turn into
it, man. Yeah,
I was stoked, actually. I remember I hadn't seen, they made a big to-do about the video, but of course by this point I lived in Saskatchewan, but I hadn't seen the Lick It Up video. Or perhaps I had. I don't really remember, but I remember walking into a record shop in another town because I used to go out on weekends and play at high school dances as a kid in my rock band. So I was just a kid, but I remember walking into the record shop and it was front racked. So I walked in and I just saw this, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of the front face album cover with a non-makeup Kiss staring at me. So I tripped. I bought it right there and then. I had to have it, And I do remember on Friday night videos, because we didn't have MTV, obviously, but Friday night videos was a thing. And I remember sitting there watching the Lick It Up video where for the first half of the video, or the first verse of the video, they show them just their boots. You're kind of like, you wear, and then all of a sudden, lick it up. And then they just show all their faces. And it was a big reveal. And I remember thinking at the time, I don't remember thinking like, oh, well, it's over. I think older people probably did, but I think those of us who were just getting into hard rock and heavy metal and all that kind of stuff, that Kiss had sort of set themselves up to be kind of like, okay, well, we're gonna be right here toe to toe with Cinderella and Poison and whatever the hell else is coming down the pipeline.
Right.
You didn't go, wow, they look like that?
Well, no. The funny thing, I remember the next day at school, somebody going, Ace Frehley looks like a girl, and I was like, I was nerdy enough to say Ace Frehley hasn't been in Kiss for years. I was like, I just felt like the fact that I knew that was almost ruder than that's Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah, Fitzy, what do you think of when they took the makeup off?
Do you guys remember how there would be news stories that would try to give you a scoop of a revealed unmasked Kiss photo? And as exciting as it was seeing them in makeup, I was also good with like.
Yeah.
Whenever you saw them like that, you were like, "Holy shit! I just saw their eyes or something."
Yeah.
And what we used to do was we would take. Here, I can be such a
double platinum.
Hold on, I was just going to do that.
Are you going to do that, buddy? Do it, buddy. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Okay, set it up, Chris. Set it up.
Oh man, so you take the double platinum album, you open it up.
Yeah. You have to have the original. Yeah.
Yep.
I admire that. I admire that you knew where that was.
Go to Brent there.
What you can see, because the makeup is on, it's sort of 3D. You can almost look and go, I think I know what they look like without makeup. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
This is how Kiss fans used to try to, like, look, hey, that kind of looks like Gene without makeup. I'm telling you.
Dude, we would put a piece of paper over it, and we would run a pencil over it.
Oh, you do like tracing paper?
Well, yeah, like a really, really light paper or trace paper is perfect. And you would get like a pencil and go over it with, and the indent would come through the pencil, So I'm always an artist drawing, right? And you could see their faces without the makeup on, and in the imprint with the sketch pencil. Yeah, that's where I thought you were going that same way with that whole putting the. I was actually almost going to do that.
Chris, that's exactly the answer. I don't have to explain. My answer is yes. My grandma would come over and babysit on the weekend. I'd have my Kiss records. I remember she'd stay over and she'd be like so scared of the posters on my wall. Every inch of my room in 1978 to whatever 70 to about 81 was everybody right. You literally plastered your walls with Kiss or your favorite
flag.
band.
I had a flag.
It's cool.
Did you have one of those black? Flag. You bought it at the head shop, like a black
Canadian flag, a Canadian.
No, it was like the black. It was a black. Not Black Flag the band, but it was a black flag with the guys.
What I got behind me, that's a flag.
Yeah, but mine was like in black and white because I couldn't afford color. I didn't have any money for color. I got a whole folder
of super dorky stuff. So this might have all been on my wall. We all had magazines. I mean, how many circus did you have, Todd? Hit Parade or Faces?
All of them.
Metal Edge. I kept all the little pullouts. And, if there was anything in Faces, can you see this?
Oh, wow.
So, anything that was on my wall, makeup or non, I actually saved them.
Wow.
I just brought them with me down to...
there's an old circus. Just 16 magazine way back in the 70s had some good stuff. Oh, look at that. That Peter Chris.
So good.
Favorite.
I did the same with Grant Fuhrer.
No, that's true. No, you know what? Absolutely. Yeah. There was hockey players, and those were our heroes growing up in Canada. We all have the same, unfortunately, Gretzky was as big as Kiss, too, at the same time,
And wrestlers. I had a lot of wrestling things going on. Okay, let's switch to live music, which, one of the members on this panel currently plays with a member. But what was the first time that you saw Kiss live? Todd, I'm sure you probably had the longest to drive.
You know what? I probably actually by that point I lived in Lanigan, Saskatchewan, so they were playing at the Agrodome in Regina, and it was 1985, so it was the Animalized tour. So it was the first tour with Bruce Kulick. So it worked out to be very interesting that the first time I saw Kiss with that guitar player who went on to become our friend. So it's quite telling. But so I would have seen them, I think, the night before, maybe a couple days before Brent saw them. And Dokken opened. They were on, what album were they on? Breaking the Chains, maybe, Brent?
Tooth and Nail.
Tooth and Nail, of course, yeah. I remember them, we loved them too at the time. So, but I remember watching Dokken and Gene Simmons coming up the side of the stage and watching them kind of like this, with the arms crossed, and the crowd chanting Gene while Dokken was playing.
Cool.
Maybe he was giving them shit for throwing out towels.
Yeah, they were throwing out towels. So
And I need to make a editorial correction here. Actually, two members of this panel play with members of the band. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, I was
playing with Gene, but I forgot. Todd, you were doing a whole shit ton of stuff with Bruce. So, anyways, I'm backing up the editorial, and two members of the panel are currently playing with members. So, yeah.
Brent, was it Dokken opening for them in Winnipeg, or was it Queensrÿche? Okay, so it was Queensrÿche because Stone 1A just pointed out that Queensrÿche had opened up until Alberta, and then when Dokken picked up in Saskatchewan and went east from there.
I'm glad we got Dokken. I love Dokken.
Yeah. What'd you get, Fitz, first time seeing him?
Well, same as Todd. Yeah, I mean, it was very unfortunate that when they came several times to Canada before, and it's cool to go and look in those like books that document when Kiss came all around the world, and Gene actually I think has the best he knows every gig and every stat to do with Kiss, but I'm sure they kept detailed records of everywhere they played. But there's several Kiss shows in just Winnipeg alone. Of course I grew up in Winnipeg, but their first shows in Canada were early 70s on the first record or whatever it was, like in Edmonton or something. I forget exactly. But anyway, Winnipeg had several shows before Todd and I saw them on the Animalized tour. And I think the biggest one that everybody who was just a little older got to see was the Love Gun tour with Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
And I'm so bummed that I just missed that one. That would have been, that would have been
the Kiss Alive 2 era, Love Gun era Kiss,
So
yeah.
I didn't get to see that. So, but I knew everybody that went. And then, I think a couple years later, the concert that everyone, the first before Kiss was Ozzy came in right after Randy Rhoads had died.
Right.
And that was like 81 or something. That was like, I remember everybody in the 5th grade was like, the whole school went. And then after that, the whole school, literally my entire junior high saw Kiss Animalize. And I know this because our school photos happened the next day or something. And the entire school is wearing Kiss Animalize t-shirts.
You got to find that, Fitz.
Awesome.
Fitz, you got to find that.
Ridiculous.
You must have that picture at your house right now. You got to find it.
Somewhere. I have look, I got all the bullshit that I, of course,
Chris,
like,
your story is famous. When did you see Kiss for the first time?
Yeah. First shout out to Julie Jim, who wants to go see Kiss this year.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was, so this was 1979. This was the last tour with Peter Criss. I was just a wee little nargin man.
Wow.
My parents took me to see them, and
You were
it was
so
the last
lucky.
one Peter Criss. Yeah, it was Maple Leaf Gardens, the Dynasty Tour, and it was fantastic. I remember everything about it. They came up out of the stage. There's actually video of it online of the actual concert I went to, and they were playing a lot of. They played. They each did a song from their solo album too, which was really cool because I was a big fan of that. But I still have check this out. This is gold right here. This is just. I have a bunch of Kiss programs over here. I collect them. But this one is from the actual show that I went to.
Nice.
There and there. Look at that, buddy. Look at that. There you go. There's your holy grail. You got that.
Who opened
Pinball
the show?
machine,
does
right?
have the pinball machine. Yes, he does. Yep.
Yeah.
Who opened that show?
Look at this though. You got to see that. Wait. You got to see this picture. Like, look at this one of Peter Criss. This is kind of like, whoa, dude. Sorry. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry.
Let me get you up here. Hold on.
I like that photo shoot when they were all in their,
Oh, sorry. Everything's backwards here. Okay.
There
Here
you
we
go.
color
Keep going.
themes.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Look at what.
Yep.
He's like a tiger.
Oh yeah.
No.
Right.
No, I love that photo shoot.
Isn't that
There
awesome?
were some great posters, and they were Canadian only from some of those photo shoots.
Nice.
And those are very, very coveted, hard to find posters. But the Canadian versions, a lot of those from that era are super rare.
I bet you John 5 has some.
He has all of
Yeah.
them. And in fact, if you want to
John
go to
5 collects it all.
the best, look at all Killer Kiss, old stuff. Go to, is it Knights in Satan's Service? Is that his
Yes, it is.
Instagram? Just go to that.
Of course it
And
is.
Yeah. It's the best. John 5 is always buying up cool old Kiss stuff.
Chris
He's
brings
nice.
up this point all the time about how Kiss unites everybody, and it's very funny when you're on tour. And when you're on tour and you're like, "Oh yeah," it's kind of like that secret society of like, "Oh, Kiss, yeah." And it's very rare that you're on tour with some young merch kid that's like, "I love Kiss." It's usually the grizzled rock guys that are crew guys that have toured with them or been out, but it really connects everybody like crazy. So it's quite something. I've never seen. I mean, will it ever happen again? Will a band connect people to that level? And we all have our favorite bands, but who's gonna come? Like BTS? Like what?
I was just about to say BTS. I mean, in some ways, yes, they unify a lot of people, but I don't know if it has. I mean, most pop groups have a shelf life, you know what I mean? And I imagine Kiss probably was intended, for all intents and purposes, people assumed they would have a shelf life as well, but it doesn't appear to be the case now. It's like we're 50 years, almost 50 years in here.
Do we? There's a few more to get through, but listen. I know you guys are friends with everybody, so I mean, this question might be too inside the scenario, but there has been talk over the last couple of years of swapping them out and going out with Kiss version 2 with maybe, all the rumors that we've heard. Gene will stay in, but they'll get a new singer, or Gene will stay in and Todd will sing and Brent will play drums. Like, just like we get all these kind of like, or Paul's going to stay and they're going to replace everybody else. Where do you stand on the version 2? Because the more I look at it now, the more I'm starting to believe that we're, 3 years away from a reality show for version for version 2, and just because of the way it's going in the world, and it's such a machine. Where does everybody stand on version 2? I'll put Fitzy on the spot because this is he's there.
I think so safe to say that just having experiences, Todd and I together with members of the band already playing music and, not being in KISS, but having, some of the guys as pretty dear friends and having our experiences on the KISS cruises, several in a row now in the last, several years. I think that's gratifying enough for me to have a relationship with the band and to share the music with all the KISS fans. It's sort of be part of the KISS family tree. Now, so I'm going to give you a politically correct answer because I think, in fairness, all I care about is that I love the band. Being in KISS it's not a concept for me. It's the idea of I love the band. It sort of helped give me the love of music and a lot of things in life that I enjoy. So I celebrate the band all the time, just because, and there are people sitting around having a Beatles podcast right now talking about the Beatles as the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Safe to say that I don't even think about round 2 because, if the band, continued on, I guess, so be it, but I don't even think about that. And I have no insider information. I mean,
Sure.
That's all I got to say is for me, I just love that Todd and I get to share.
Would you support it? Would you support a version 2?
I don't know, I guess. I mean, I support everything KISS in a way. I'm never going to not find a positive because it's been so good for me. I'm not a debater of what's better, original 80s era. And, to me, it's like it's a body of work and that body of work is strong. And, so that's my answer is, and Todd and I get to be part of that family tree. So I'm excited to be part of the family tree. And that's what I celebrate, is to have a little stake in the band that gave me my start. So
yeah,
here we are.
Todd.
It's funny because I can't help but equate it to things like Queen. In essence, sure, we are seeing Queen with a couple of original guys, but there was a certain point where if you would have told me anybody was going to sing those songs, I'd have been like, absolutely not interested. This is a terrible mistake. This is a terrible idea. No one will ever accept it. But enough time passes and you go to a Queen show in the 21st century and you see Adam, who carries it so well and sings the song so great. And you take it as an homage to the music. You take it as an homage to Freddie himself. The fact that when Freddie comes on screen is just takes the wind out of you. You're just like, oh my God, it's so emotional. But KISS is such that I think they've always sort of prepared you for this kind of thing every step of the way, right from the very first time. We were, as kids, Peter Criss was pulled out of that equation, in reality fairly quickly. You know what I mean? Like, if for those of us who would have sort of gotten into KISS in say 77, well, he was out of the band a couple of years later. So, which is was exciting too. As a kid, you were like, well, who's this guy? He's the Fox or whatever. And you're like, Eric Carr's introduction. And then as you went along, there was something kind of, it kind of got a little bit much, but I think at the same time, there's something interesting and something exciting about that kind of stuff. But at the same time, seeing, to see a band that is 100% not the original band. First of all, that is happening. That's happening all around us. Foreigner and a lot of bands.
Foreigner does it better than anybody.
I saw them. It was really good.
A lot of bands are just simply going to outlive the name of the band. I know Lynyrd Skynyrd is down to 1, and I think they're retiring. But part of me is kind of like, well, at this point, why? Some of those guys have been in the band 20, 25 years in a version of Lynyrd Skynyrd or in a version of 38 Special or whatever band you can bring up. And at a certain point, you think, well, KISS is different because it's so much more of an athletic visual type thing in and of itself, that guys like Gene and Paul getting up into their 70s, it might start to get, I'm not speaking for them because I still think that they do a great job, but it just becomes kind of like, look, at a certain point, it's one thing to imagine. Some people didn't even imagine playing rock and roll in their 50s, let alone 60s and 70s. But it's another thing to be dressing up as a superhero night for night, blowing fire and spitting blood, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's possible. And I, to be honest, I've sort of envisioned that for a long time. I sort of thought, like, even back in the reunion days, I thought, well, I could have seen like a Vegas show, a Vegas review type show where they would have just had one version of that thing happening here in Vegas, a big massive show, all the songs, crazy visuals, and it kind of wouldn't matter who was playing Paul Stanley that night. Oh, tonight they've got the understudy. You know, I'd be like, but the one guy, he's really good. You know, I mean, like that conversation will happen. Them actually getting down to one lineup that is kind of like, Dave, Mike, Steve, and Jim, like those are the guys. That's the new Kiss lineup. That seems kind of like it's possible, but I almost envision it more as being like, a much bigger thing. Like it's some sort of like there are multiple guys. You don't even know who you're seeing on that given night. As long as they're doing the Star Child, the Catman, Spaceman, and the Demon, it almost doesn't matter. But your ideas of as far as a reality show and finding those guys, I think you're probably on point.
It's an interesting one because I think no matter what they do, even if they went down that road, it's all about the tickets.
Of
so
course.
is anybody, because no one's selling records per se, I'm saying not like in that regard. So it's really going to be about live. Like, what are they going to be able to do live? And that's the big thing. It's like, will our generation, and I'll throw myself in there because even though I was later to Kiss, I was still, I'm a 70s kid, but I'm just saying our generation will move on. And then my little guy who's seen Kiss 3 times already, is he going to be down with like a brand new Kiss that's like with 20-year-olds that's going to carry it on for another 50 years in some kind of version? But then, is the music going to have to change to sustain it? So will the integrity of the band leave? And it's really interesting to me.
There's an argument for that too, though, because your son, when you take him to see Kiss, he's not going, oh, wait, that's not Peter Criss. That's not Ace Frehley, and guys of our generation do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those kids are almost the best litmus test to show that all they're seeing, they're hearing the songs, they're seeing the visuals that go along with it. And from 40 feet away, if you're lucky, in some cases, hundreds of feet away, and big screens and all that, it kind of doesn't really matter who it is as long as they're doing a great job of it. It's
expensive to blow that shit up. So that's what I'm saying.
You're right, though. Yeah, it's always going to get tickets.
Chris, where are you at, buddy? On a version 2?
Well, yeah, I don't listen to Kiss really after Asylum kind of thing. But I'm happy with that. I'm very content with that. So whatever they do is cool. There's a couple comments on the side. Stone One is a big Kiss fan but thinks they need to retire. Crackanot Stir says Guar would just put a new person in there. And another all kinds of people have played Hamlet. Why shouldn't lots of people play the Starman? The Star Child, right? So there's a couple opinions on that. I think, well, personally, Gene and Paul should probably stop because they're getting old and that's a tough gig to keep going that way. I thought it was if there was like 4 people that could keep 4 younger like people in their 20s that were that could keep it going. I don't know. I just don't like it when it becomes all Hollywood, like the search for it, because then you're wondering how authentic and how if they pre-pick these kids to be in the band. You know what I mean? Like the funny thing I thought about just aside American Idol is nobody clued in that every time somebody won, it was a different genre of music. Like somebody R&B won, somebody pop won, and then a country guy won, and then a country, like I already said, it was all different genres that were winning. And I was sitting here watching this go on and joking with my wife, like, okay, well, this person's going to win because like a pop person cannot win American Idol again. You know what I mean? So if they did something with that with Kiss, my only fear would be that it would be all predetermined, because I would love to see some hardworking young musicians get a break to be the new Kiss who really, really wanted it. You know what I mean? Like the hockey players who weren't drafted in the first round, man, but they go out there and they play and they help you win the Stanley Cup. If they could genuinely find some four kids who really believed in it and wanted to carry on and did it proper, I would check that out. I definitely would. What do you
think is the hardest position to fill? This is an interesting conversation that I've had with a lot of my friends.
You know what, buddy? I think it's one of those things that it's like the Beatles. You need it has to be the perfect 4 set in there, or else it's not going to turn. You know what I mean? You get the perfect 4 in there and it turns properly. You get that one person that's not right in there and it's not going to turn. But that's how important Kiss is to me too, right? Like,
I know.
Their albums, when they were so perfect, you know what I mean? Like whether it was gatefold, whether you got stickers or poster, it was just so well done.
I read a quote from Paul Stanley once, and he said, "I've seen a lot of great Kiss cover bands, tribute bands," and he says, "I've seen great Gene Simmons's, great Peter Criss's, great Ace Frehley's, but I've never seen a great Paul Stanley, and I would agree with that.
Wow,
It's the one thing that's really, really hard is there's a specific look to that character, if you want to call a Star of Child a character. Sure. The way he moves, the way he sings, the way he talks to the audience. There's something about the other characters. The Gene character is so big and it's so over the top that it's almost kind of like you can almost sort of fake it a little bit. The Paul Stanley character is so much more like, first of all, you have to be able to sing all that stuff, which is already a challenge. So that's gonna be the first step, is finding that kid who can sing that stuff, and then who is in great shape and can do all those moves and all that kind of stuff.
It's gonna be tough. None of the new kids have chest hair, do they?
Well, it might be a manscaped Star Child.
Tattoo.
Yeah,
that's a good point, though. You got to. I mean, whoever's going to sing has got to. You're not putting this new thing together to be together for 5 years. Like,
and you got to play. There's a lot of guys who can sing, but do they also play guitar well enough to carry the rhythm? I mean, who knows what kind of level of authenticity there's going to be? Maybe it's going to be a relatively modern type show that will have a lot of things covering it sonically. When I don't know. It's by the time I've always had a feeling that my grandkids are going to come home and say, "We're going to go see Kiss tonight." I'll be Kiss. I'm like, Kiss. Yeah.
Get him to play Love Gun.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah,
you're talking about the old, or Grandpa, you're talking about the old songs, from 2015.
You're
talking
the 1900s. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The mystery of what costume they were going to have every year when, like, every album when you're younger was really cool too. What are they going to be wearing this time? Of course.
I think they kind of started to flirt with that around like the Sonic Boom record and then Monster later on. Even though it was kind of like after the fact, it still felt like, well, I appreciate them making the effort that even this late in the game, it's like, here's a new costume. I like that.
The challenge is going to be live. The version 2 of whatever this is going to be has to be a completely different model of sustainability. So
100%.
merchandising, which we're going to get into, but it's really like, then it's now that level is going to change, and it's going to be.
Kiss has merchandise?
The George Lucas effect.
Yeah. It's so that whatever that's going to be, the jury's out.
Well, it's funny. One more thing, Brent. One more thing I just want to mention on that, because it is similar to Star Wars, where George Lucas sold his idea to Disney. Is Kiss and Paul Stanley going to sell their Kiss dream to, I don't know, who wants to buy it, right? I would imagine
Amazon.
A lot of companies would want to buy into that, right?
Amazon, you got to get that merch out.
Yeah.
So imagine that. And then Gene and Paul really don't have that much say in what goes on with it. They just kind of, they probably wouldn't let it go anyway, I don't think. But imagine if a big company did get in there and got a hold of Kiss, that'd be interesting too. Just a side note, I just kind of got the comparison.
Well,
of George
it's a good
Lucas
point though, Chris.
and,
it's a good point from the standpoint of
Gene
like,
Simmons.
we might be, it's a good point from the standpoint of like, what is next? So there has to be a version 2 of this, I think, just because of the empire that they've built.
You kick it off with a remake of Phantom of the Park, man. How cool would that be, right? The young character, they just redo it, but with really amazing visual effects this time.
CGI and all,
Yeah.
That would be cool. I do love that movie, but again, it all comes back to how we felt as kids, right?
Yeah.
But I still feel like right now, we're having this debate about what the next version of Kiss, and I'm kind of like, but Kiss is still alive and well. And I will say the Kiss cruise, if you're a fan, and Chris, you are, and if you haven't been on the Kiss cruise, that is your antithesis of, when you go on that cruise, you are amongst the hardcore of hardcore, and everything goes. All the different
army members.
It kind of works. Everyone kind of gets along, and they're different, age groups. There's all kinds of kids and people our age and older. And so I'm just, again, I'm going to play the guy that says, look, Kiss is so, all we're waiting for is pandemic to change things. And Kiss would have still been on the final tour, right? So, and who knows, if that doesn't necessarily mean the final tour, it's kind of like, but who's to say something should end just because we're debating it right now,
Yeah, I don't think it's not even a debate either. I think it's an actual conversation, because I think it's one of the most real ones as far as like a brand, in our business of music that we're in. It's one of the only ones that we can have this discussion about.
Well, they're probably one of many bands that doesn't have to play live shows. It can still sell tons of merch. You know what I mean? Like, there's still so much merch you can buy of Kiss, whether they're touring or writing music or not.
Yeah.
You
the
can't
Vegas
imagine
residency.
an
I mean, didn't-
Aerosmith. You can't imagine an Aerosmith without Steven Tyler. Period. I mean, that's not going to happen. But a version of Kiss, possible.
All right, fellas, we got about 30 minutes left before the world takes over on the network. We are going to go to merchandising. Merchandising. You guys got shit tons of stuff there. I'll just lay it out there as far as like, what is your favorite Kiss item, either personally that you have, or do you think that they've made? That's the coolest thing in the world. Fitz, you've got some shit, really cool shit there. All the three of you guys have it. But what is the coolest thing that you have Kiss wise? Chris, what you got some stuff in front of you right now? You want to start?
I could go. Okay,
Yeah.
So I always liked. This was the other thing I really enjoyed about the albums is the stuff that they put in for you, the extra stuff. And I'm doing this with my comic book Skeletron. There's something secret stuff in the middle of my comic book. Like there's some cool stuff. Anyway, so I always like the extra things you got. It made me feel like
this. You mean that?
Yeah, that comic book right there. It's selling well. Doing well. Okay, so I always like the little things that you got in it. Sorry, I'm just trying. Oh, right here. Here it is. Okay. The little things that you got in the albums. Now, what I have here is I sent away for this. Oh man, I can't find the camera. Okay. So I sent away for this.
Nice.
This was out of what was this on? It was just like from a magazine or something. And they just sent it in and you get a postcard. And that's what it is. It's a postcard, right?
Cool.
But I got that way back in the day, and that was a mail-in thing. I can't remember which album this came with, but it was their actual like promo album picture thing.
Very cool.
So I got that. That's all original. Now this here we go. Now this is so cool. This is the stuff that I really enjoy. And I have two of these. So this is the Gun to the Love Gun album.
So cool.
Yeah.
There we go, right
Can't
there.
believe you have two.
I got two.
That's
I know.
beautiful.
How crazy is that now? So those were inserts, obviously, in the Love Gun album. Now this is this is the visual of this album. I don't know, man. I'd still love to get this tattooed on me. And I love this album. Oh, this is the sticker.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
That's the sticker from the Rock and Roll Over album.
One of the best album covers that they ever did.
Is it? Oh, dude, yes. Like that visual to me is just like I remember wanting to buy this one too, just mainly because of the visual, seeing it, be going, oh, that's got to be a great album.
Totally.
And the vibe on that one was really decent as well. Like I loved the vibe on that one. That was amazing. And then some stamps.
Oh wow, cool.
That's just touching a bit on your collection too.
Oh yeah.
Chris.
Dude, yeah. And I have all the posters here. I also have, strangely, just real quick. So I have, this is a package of all the Kiss Army stuff that you get. And this is from like the early 2000s. So it's
cool.
Like all the stuff they would give you. There's my Kiss Army card. Right there. Official member.
Oh, that's cool.
There we go, right? Loud and proud since 1975.
Nice.
This is an original from back when I had the cutoff jean jacket and you'd put patches all over them.
Yeah.
So that's an original from like 1980, I think. Oh, and there's a pin from the farewell tour in there as well.
Beautiful.
When they did the farewell tour, and but we also, my wife and I saw, and I have just real quick. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a bit. Allergies are killing me. Here it was. This one.
Oh yeah. Alive 35. Peter Criss and Tommy Thayer. The one and only time that lineup was a thing.
So what they did is they redid Kiss Alive. They redid the Kiss Alive album, like to a T, like the stuff in between and everything. And we saw it at a casino. It was my wife's first Kiss experience.
Eric Singer by that point. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, you're right.
But they did it exactly the same as the Kiss Alive album, and it was my wife's first Kiss experience going to see Kiss. And at that point, it was a legend. Because they're not going to come out and they're not going to come back out, and at least they're not going to come back out and redo a live one, which I'm playing for her on vinyl and telling her all the little things, the drum solo, you know what I mean, and that kind of stuff. Totally, yeah. So for her to see that, and it was at a casino, so it was really accessible for us, and the sound was great. And that was cool. So I could go on forever, but you guys, I'll pass on here. You guys go.
Fitzy, give her a go, Fitz.
Are those Eric's?
Wow.
Come on. You need a Kiss Dubai. That's the most recent gig.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Eric's. Yeah, Eric always has cool sticks. I've been collecting his sticks for a long time. What do you want to see? Look, I got 8 tracks.
Oh, nice.
This is almost like a new version of It Came from the Basement.
Who's got the sheet music for Beth?
Oh, sheet music.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Sheet music for Destroyer and Love Gun. Hello. There's the scarf I bought from the Animalized tour when I first saw Kiss.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I don't
Bruce gave
remember
it to me. He handed it out from the audience. No, I'm just kidding. It was like, is Bruce watching right now?
I hope so.
So, everybody has to have all the booklets from here's
Yes.
so Alive.
I know. That's the Alive one. Yeah.
Great, buddy.
And that's 2.
Back it up. Kiss Originals. Hello.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
classic.
So then, come on. Let's go over to Kiss Comics.
Yeah, you have to have those.
There. Oh my gosh. And
I mean-
what was the mysterious thing about the red ink? Do you guys remember?
I know
Their
that was such a
Yeah.
all that. Oh, Gene's tongue is a cow's tongue sewn on, and there was
Yeah.
blood in the
They
ink.
put their blood in there in the ink.
The Kiss Meets the Phantom book. Hey Todd, don't you have like a?
Oh, that's
you got to
awesome.
show that it's like a book that actually has a whole discussion about.
Yeah,
the movie, right?
a guy wrote a book about the
I got to get that.
Kiss Meets the Phantom. He went off and interviewed like all the filmmakers and whatnot, producers and whatnot of that film. So it answers a lot of questions, but I mean, it doesn't really answer that many questions. It's just a lot of very interesting, almost minutia of like, wow, this guy really dug in on a film that no one really would care to dig that far into, but except for guys like me and you. Yeah. So my collection is mostly things like, well, it's actually a lot of the same things Brent just showed, but unfortunately I don't have a lot of things on hand. The Kiss pinball machines out there, the Kiss 1978 pinball machine, that's the big one. You guys have seen that before.
That is, man.
That
is a
wins.
very
You win just on that alone.
well.
I remember when I went to your house, Todd, that one time we were doing Seinfeld stuff, and I walked in and we got Gene's bass and a pinball machine, and Fitz was like, go over to Todd's, and then it's going to be Seinfeld and Kiss, and you're going to be there for hours. And I'm like, this is great. And I walked in, and I'm like, there's the pinball machine, there's the bass. I'm like,
Okay, hold on. Also,
Put on some Seinfeld and let's get at it. Yeah.
Todd has the most wonderful wife because she lets him. That pinball machine is in the living room. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there when she moved in, and she's always sort of like, no, that's a great cultural talking piece, a conversation piece. When people come in the house, I go, okay, it's a Kiss pinball machine. I don't want to move that damn thing. It's huge. But I have a lot of the guitars. I have a lot of the stuff that actually Brent got me. This really cool is almost a Lego set, Kiss Alive 2 set up over there that I can't really dig out, but. So I have a lot of like bizarre things, and a lot of the old classic stuff. That's been a process of trying to say to myself, because some guys, Sebastian Bach is a friend, and he collects like almost every printing of each Kiss album you can find. So, and when you get involved in that with the reverse kit S's in Germany and all that kind of stuff, it can get pretty nuts. For me, it's like I just want to get the versions of the original records that I had, especially like things like Unmasked and Dynasty that had the posters in it. The live albums, all those booklets, all that kind of stuff. That stuff was what I really. The Kiss solo albums all came with posters originally too. Those are all. But then I'm almost getting to a point where I'm like, my wife and I are looking at bigger houses just because we have so much stuff. Not because we need a bigger house, but we need to put our stuff somewhere. It's just like it's kind of embarrassing. There's one half of my brain is like, get rid of all this, downsize, live. The other side is like, get more stuff, get a bigger house.
We're gonna go to a couple more things before we let you guys jump here. So Chris had dropped some stuff in our chat here when we were chatting. So couple quick subjects to cover, which is top 5 Kiss solos, best era for costumes, how good or bad were the solo albums, and most underrated Kiss songs. So we'll do this. Yeah, it's a bevy here. It's a bevy. It's a bevy of information.
I'll go first so you guys have time to contemplate.
Top 5 Kiss solos, Chris Conner.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this. All right. So first of all, now again, I'm a guitar player and was very heavily influenced by Ace Frehley. So the first one, or number 5, would be Detroit Rock City. The harmonies in there are spectacular. It's just great solo. Love that solo. Number 4 is from one of the solo albums. It's from the Ace Frehley solo album, but it's the solo that really made me want to play solos, and that's "Rip It Out." The solo from "Rip It Out" is just sensational, right? Number 3 is "Shock Me." Just wow, the live solo is Ace Frehley, incredible. Number 2, "Rocket Ride." Oh man, when I heard "Rocket Ride," I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" It's just so spacey and the Star Wars vibe to it, and then the solo with the what pedal do you have on there? Wasn't a wah, was a phaser maybe or something, right?
I think so, yeah.
On the Rocket Ride solo, yeah. And then number 1, and this is my favorite Kiss song of all time, and that's "Black Diamond." Black Diamond is just, oh man, that, and when they dun 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 dun, and I visualize that live of all the times I've watched on YouTube videos of them back in the day.
Didn't they just start playing it live? Did you guys see the recent tour?
Oh, I don't know, but that's the solo on there's my favorite, and it's my favorite song as well, right? And then so what was the other one? Oh, the costumes was "Love Gun," because I loved Peter Criss had almost like the bullet thing around him, right? And I thought that was so friggin' cool. Paul Stanley's didn't change too much. He played pretty standard. And then Gene, as long as Gene had the dragon boots, I was pretty happy. And then Ace Frehley's that year with the big white pieces that came over and the big armbands, like he really looked like he was a spaceman there. I thought that was so cool. So Love Gun was my favorite era for the costumes. My favorite, now here's my favorite underrated Kiss song. Sorry, solo albums. Loved the solo albums, all of them. I still, when I was working on my a basement downstairs doing drywalling, I was listening to Peter Criss solo album over and over again. I was loving it, man. I can't file the rain, here it comes again. You know, all that stuff. I was loving it. Yeah. Loving it. So I love those solo albums. And plus the artwork and the posters, as you mentioned, my friend, just loved it. All right. And now my favorite underrated Kiss song, and if one of you guys pick this, I'll be amazed, but it's "Mr. Speed." I love Mr. Speed.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That riff down. I love that song, dude. Love that song. So there you go. There's mine. That's
a very Paul Stanley riff.
It's so good. Yeah, right?
I'll go, I guess. What are we starting with?
Solos.
I kind of just sort of jotted some things down. I've always loved the solo to Dr. Love. It's one of those ones, they made a list of like, they haven't been very like secretive about who played on what. So I was just kind of looking at this list kind of like with my fingers crossed. Please tell me that was really Ace Frehley and not like, you know, Rick Derringer or something. But that was Ace Frehley. Strange when the Hotter Than Hell album is one of my favorite solos. It's like Tony Iommi, kind of like it's super over the top. I got to choose from that same album. That's the best thing about Ace is all his solos were very singable. I put down "Dark Light" from The Elder because there's a major solo in the middle of that album. I was just like,
there is
like the bass drops out and it's just Eric Carr and
Ace,
and it's super over the top. And I'm like, this is one of the coolest. Even to this day, when I go back and listen, I go, that's pretty rad, actually. I wrote down "Revenge" as my audible because I got to give Bruce some love, and I always thought that was a great solo in the Kiss "Revenge" album.
What song though?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant "Unholy" was the song I was going for.
Right.
Yeah, that solo is always like really like. I always think it's really aggressive and it has all the right things that I really like about it. There's some other ones that Bruce does a lot more sort of like athletic, ambitious type solos, but for whatever reason, that one really sticks out. I'm also a big fan of the Love Gun costumes. That's a tough one for me because I'm such a fan and such a stickler for all the costumes. Like, but I just feel like that era kind of like it really kind of all came together in a way. Like they'd sort of like when you look at the earlier costumes being kind of a little bit janky and a little bit kind of funky looking, and then kind of getting, but still kind of real street and cool. And then they kind of got more and more slick. I feel like the Love Gun ones are just slick enough that they look perfect, but still street, still black and silver. By the time you get into the Dynasty era, things start to get real Vegas and over the top. But I also still have a real soft spot in my heart for those. Most under the solo albums, I love all the solo albums. I'm just like Chris that way. It's sort of I oddly enough, Gene's is one of my favorites because it was the first one I had and we listened to the hell out of it, you know, because we couldn't buy 4 albums at once. That my mother would have killed us. So it was a very slow process. Ace Frehley's clearly is a winner. Paul's is a winner, and Peter's got a lot of great stuff on it, although it's quite a different listen than the other records. I have Little Caesar by Eric Carr as my most underrated Kiss song. I just feel like it's always one of those songs that by the time it came out, it was kind of like Why hadn't this happened way earlier? First of all, Eric Carr was a great singer and a great talent and a hugely loved member of that band by the fans. So when he finally got a song, we play it in the Kiss Cruise set, and people, I've seen grown men weep. True story.
Fitzy.
Love Her All I Can.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
a shining ace moment for sure. Standout. If you want to talk just early Kiss, so Love Her All I Can, Off Dressed to Kill, very, very fantastic melody and probably difficult to play even for anybody to dissect that solo. I think the Shock Me solo is pretty incredible. I like I Stole Your Love. I actually like okay. Let's go
I
to
Stole Your Love is a split between Paul and Ace, by the way.
Yes, and that's why I like it. But I think I Want You is a good solo too, off Rock and Roll. But that is, I think, just Paul. So then so just for sheer melody and just the hit song factor and it's such a strong Kiss hit song. I think we have to say that Bruce's solo in Tears Are Falling is pretty epic. It's very memorable, and Bruce, like, that was such a great, that's he's got that forever. It's such a great solo, and even to say the Forever solo might even be Bruce's best solo and best statement. Kiss is the acoustic solo he did on the song Forever is really, really great. I mean, it's really a great piece of music. So I love those. And again, not judging just on early Kiss, but as a whole body of work, there's some really strong musical statements there. So there you go.
Solos. All right. We're going, you're going best era for costumes. Fitz.
Asylum.
Gun. Well, I'm very aware of the Asylum stuff. In fact, because again, Bruce and I we've celebrated so much recently of that whole non-makeup era that I'm never mad at it. I'll tell you that. Even though I would say Love Gun reflects the most. So the Kiss dolls that are up here, that just sort of brings me back to childhood and the importance of those costumes in that particular era. So I'm a Love Gun guy.
Favorite solo record?
Favorite solo record? It was Ace, and then only because I didn't have all the solo records for a long time. And then it's, what? I'll rate them as my favorites. Like, I'll say the Ace record at the time when I was a kid, I listened to it the most. And then later on, I listened more to Gene and Paul's, and I got to play a lot of the Gene stuff with him in his band. And Radioactive is a fucking great song. Radioactive is great.
It is,
great.
yes.
That alone, just as the opening track. And then, and Todd and I got to really delve into the Paul solo record stuff when we played on the first time on the cruise together with Bruce and Bob Kulick. And you know what? You can't not acknowledge that people might put Ace's record up top, but I'd have to say Paul's record is really, really, really strong too. And
songwriting is huge on that album.
It is.
Yeah. And I just didn't. I used to draw Peter's album cover, but I for some reason I didn't have all those records as a kid. I don't know why I didn't have all the solo records, but I got Peter's record much later. So again, it's more about familiarity back then when I was currently obsessed, and I would listen to that Ace record, then the Gene record, and then I got more into Paul's record much more recently, and I would put Paul's up there as really, really strong. So
could you, and the last one is most underrated song.
Okay, that I think
Rock and Roll All Night.
Flaming Youth.
Wow, that's a classic.
So you're talking about not getting the Peter Criss record in a bit. I mean, the other side of it is, did those solo records, was there enough of them coming into Winnipeg, like wherever, those small towns where you could all buy them all at the same time? I'd imagine they were such a massive band, but was there enough that every kid in town could get one if they wanted? Or you had to line up.
The Record Man, we had A&A, we had all those great record stores, and the Canadian versions of all the records, as you all know, as owners of, because we grew up in Canada, are like all my records that I have here are mostly Canadian versions. So we had them all.
Yeah.
I got them all here.
Casablanca actually they made like a bag that had all 4 faces, the 4 solo albums on the bag. So when you bought a record, you could walk out with those. Those are collectible as well. I don't know if I've ever seen one in person, but that apparently was part of the hype machine at the time.
Nice.
They shipped a lot. I don't know what they sold, but they shipped a lot.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, gentlemen, on I mean, we could go for days and days, but I mean, we covered a great deal.
I've been waiting to do this Kiss episode.
A great deal of.
It's only the first one,
stuff.
Machete.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll go on to other ones,
yeah.
other ones. But yeah, as far as what does Kiss mean to you, Todd? Give us their Kiss mean to you moment.
Well, it's sort of the beginning and the end in a lot of ways. You know, it's like it's really hard for me to take any of it away because I think even like after watching like so many live performances of the band, watching like the Kiss Animalize live uncensored concert over and over again when it came out as a kid, I think that's a big part of what made me so excited to get on stage and play. And I think I'm probably, no matter what I'm doing in my mind, I think I'm just always doing a sort of Paul Stanley impression. You know, whether I'm playing bass or guitar or whatever, it's sort of like there's always this sort of like, I was always very taken by the idea of they're always looking at the audience. They're always interacting with the audience. They're always kind of like, you know, they interact with each other as well, but it's sort of very out. You know, there's never sort of an inward playing where you're looking down and sort of like, it's always out. It's always, you know, it's big, you know what I mean? And I think that that's so much a part of who I am as a musician that I'm recently going into a Rush rabbit hole that has me sort of going like, it's weird because I was never really a prog rock Rush. You know, I really just never cared about playing really fast and really complicated music because the music that spoke to me was Kiss and Cheap Trick and the New York Dolls and then into the punk rock bands. But it didn't mean I didn't appreciate those things. It just sort of like, I felt like I like this stuff. This stuff really speaks to me. And I didn't feel like I needed to kind of really go into any other areas really. But I think that sort of still dictates how I look at my favorite bands, my favorite shows, my favorite artists and songs is always that sort of like, it's simplistic in of itself. It's powerful but it says a lot, you know.
Fitz, what does Kiss mean to you, man?
It's a lifestyle. Todd summed it up, you know, beautifully. How, you know, we're all doing an impression in some way of the things that were influencing us from childhood. So, you know, there's always going to be some celebration in, you know, because we choose to be professional musicians now, and all that choosing became the choice of embracing a band when you're younger, and then you just sort of, you know, you don't even think about it, but there's little bits and pieces of everything, of all the different bands you like. But I would probably say for a huge chunk, specifically one band got me much more into melody and songs and visual and how to entertain. And, you know, it's really interesting. We were talking earlier before, like back when you were saying about the Alive record and how you looked at what they wrote, you know, Space Age, you know, they all had their, I used to think about, you know, oh, you should have good penmanship because those things that Kiss wrote, you know, stuck with me. I thought they had really good, the way you know, just the way Gene wrote, I thought was, you know, super cool. And those things carry that you don't think about in, you know, in everyday life, but it's like, I've always carried myself like, you know, you should have good diction and good, remember when they, you know, Kiss plays Gibson and Pearl drums because they want the best. They want the best. You're always striving for excellence. And in a way, you know, it gave us this great, you know, springboard to be good and be great at what you do and have fun doing it. And, you know, I did it all with my friends. Everything was Kiss because everybody else liked Kiss. It was a communal thing. So, you know, and that's why going on the Kiss cruises, you sort of feel like you're with all your other people who are enjoying the band today and have careers and all different things. We happen to choose music and play a lot and are in these, you know, little circles very close to the band, but it's kind of like a way of life, right? I mean, Chris, you're going to
way of life. It's Chris.
So,
What do you think, Chris?
Oh yeah, I summed up at the beginning. Just that the logo. Where is it? Right there.
Yeah.
When I see that logo, man, and the old pictures when they're on, I can't remember what building it was, but they're hanging over the edge of it there, right? And
Empire State, probably.
yeah, I thought it was the Empire State. Yeah, like those classic ones. And the other one that I showed you, where they're on those clear stands, and then it's the black to red kind of gradient behind them. That whole era, all that stuff, man. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me. Everything about the logo just means the world to me, and it was my identity as a kid. As I mentioned, a lot of people made fun of me because I like Kiss, and a lot of people made fun of me because I read comic books because I was in a very small town. But then you find the people who like that, and it clicked in. So it was my identity. I didn't mind wearing it on my shirt, and I still don't. So there it is, right there. Boom. This was a shirt I got with the Kiss Army thing there. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, Kiss. Kiss means everything to me, like the classic wise. I can't discredit Kiss for any music influence and also for artistic influence, because their album covers were amazing. Those album covers were great. Yeah.
I don't think we'll see anything like it ever again. So, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Brent.
guys.
It's really, really rad of you guys to rejoin. It's been a few.
I look forward to our next chat about the Loki series or something.
What do we have coming up next?
For us personally,
Well, just
like,
Disney wise, what's
Loki's next.
Loki's next, yeah.
Loki's next? Awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Why don't we'll do this the way we're supposed to do it. Todd, tell everybody where they can find you and all the things.
You want me to get my home address? Just kidding.
No.
Meet me at the bar.
At Todd Kerns, at Todd Kerns on Twitter. Everywhere else, I'm at Todd Kerns, and you can usually find me fairly easy.
And you can't leave until you give us your best Paul Stanley-ism.
Well, that's the. You're looking for someone, but it's not Kiss. I like 70s Paul. I like 70s Paul voice. I like 70s Paul's speaking voice. I just wanted to show you my Stan Lee Migo.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that great? They just put this out. I walked into the store and I went, oh, I've got to buy this right now. It's pretty
wow.
great.
That is really cool, man.
Kind of an aside, I know, but yeah.
Fitzy,
no, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us the tale. Where's everyone looking for you?
Oh, I'm all Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Brent Fitz. It says down there. And but Todd and I, we share a lot of bands together, so you can enjoy us on Toque Rocks as well.
That's right.
Fun and all the Slash stuff. We share a lot of the same. Anyway, we share a lot of the same musical space. So we're when you look at Todd's and my Instagrams, you see a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, we can't let you, Fitz. We can't let you leave until you weigh in on this segment. Give us your prediction on the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, I don't have to predict. Yeah, I think the Jets are well rested, and I'm glad that they're playing the Habs. Is this what you're asking me? Is like
yes? We need your nerds on ice prediction of how this is going to go.
I'm really happy that Hellebuck has been a strong goalie in the playoffs, although I was a little mad at him during the regular season sometimes. And so then winning against the Habs, great. Although the weirdness of the no crowd in the Winnipeg arena could be interesting. And then for the next series, hoping they win. And if they do play Colorado or the Knights, I don't know what is going to happen with going down to the States and playing to a crowd.
I think everything is reseeding.
It's okay.
I think they're reseeding out of this round. So whoever wins and it sets a final four will get reseeded, I believe, based on where they finished in the season. And then I have a feeling that it's moving stateside into a bubble, but we'll see.
Okay. And just as a long-standing, 40-plus year Jet fan, it's very hard to be a Jet fan. And I mean that sincerely, because we are small and we are mighty, and we've been, not winning cups, and we've always, stuck by our team. But when it gets good like this, we really rally. And that overtime goal on Monday night was an epic moment. It was in Jets history. And so I hope we build off it. But it's just, I don't look forward to these, the Jets are going to play the Knights. And people ask me all the time, well, who are you going to cheer for against the Knights? You live in Vegas. You must like the Knights. Well, I do like the Knights. I like the Knights. I love the Jets. The Jets is like I said, it's harder to love the Jets all these years, and it's easy to love the Golden Knights. And I mean that sincerely, but the Golden Knights have been a very successful winning team, and I only have a few short years. But you try to be a Jet fan since the Avco Cup era or the entry to the NHL in the late 70s, and it's been a tough road. Almost as tough as being a Leafs fan, you guys.
Oh man, wow.
Yeah, does your team give up 3-1 leads? Anyways, we're gonna.
Wow.
That was a painful loss.
So do you cheer for Jets now? Hey, do you guys cheer Jets? If they lost to the Habs, you don't cheer for the Habs, right?
Not cheering for the Habs, so it's for sure.
Is that
I don't. Yeah,
I like the Avalanche, man. I think the Avalanche are going to go pretty far.
That's a little Gene pick. Yeah,
there you go. I got something. I don't have that one, but I got something similar.
Did you steal that off Gene on the cruise?
Gene doesn't actually play those though. On stage, he plays like more of a Tortex, the gray nylon picks.
Yeah, Chris, we got to get down to that cruise. God damn it, we got.
Yeah, you really do, man.
Get Dean to send us out there on that. That'd be a great episode, man.
We'll just like have you each carry a guitar, and you can be like the crew, and just kind of.
I'm down with that.
That's the secret. Just give me your radio. Just give me your radio.
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
We had these crazy jackets made because we were lucky enough. We have some dear friends in Japan who gifted us the original white ones. Now they're not original, but in white. But we did we make an executive decision, Todd? Like we'd probably get more mileage out of them if they were black. So
of course, yeah.
So we had, and our good friend Megan from Winnipeg, Ketchison, who does awesome Kiss costumes. She did these up for us. So
she sure
those
did.
are really cool.
You guys come back anytime, eh?
Oh yeah,
come back and hang out.
Rid of us now.
Yeah, make sure you tune in next week. Tune in next week because these guys from Vancouver made a brand new Star Wars series called Bucketheads on their iPhones and all the rest of it, and it's blowing up and it looks rad. And the creators they're coming on. They're coming on next week, so you'll dig that. They created a whole. I saw it at Fan Expo, and it was like, "What the hell is this?" They're like, "Yeah, we got permission, and we shot the whole thing, and we're doing it." And it's like not for profit. A bunch of I guess there's the Star Wars groups of people. They call themselves like the whatever. They got a group like a stormtrooper, the code name or whatever.
First.
And they basically created this movie, and it's called Bucketheads. They got a series, an 8-part series, and so they're coming.
Weren't they actually used in the Mandalorian series? That group.
Good question. We'll ask them next week.
Yeah,
wow, that's a good question.
I think they actually used real that group or some group of fans that dress up as stormtroopers. I think they used them in either the Mandalorian.
Tell you, they better put us in whatever the hell they're doing next. I'll tell you that. Especially if they're shooting at North Van all the way, Todd. Nice. Next time you come up and see the kids.
What? They're shooting in North Van?
They shot it all in North Van.
Mm-hmm.
What did they shoot there? The Mandalorian?
No, they shot the Bucketheads.
Oh, the Bucketheads.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm in. So I could be in that. I've got a
come
helmet.
Back anytime, boys. Thanks for joining us for All Kiss all the time this week. We'll see you guys down the road. I can't wait for an update on what you two are doing, but that's another episode.
That's another episode.
That's another episode for
it'll be Kiss.
Yeah. Big
Thanks,
love,
guys.
you guys. Thanks so much.
Take care, fellas.
Always a blast.
Yeah.
Good night, guys. Stay well.
Before we finish up, we're going to take a little break and thanks our friends at Blue Microphones, Chris.
Let's do it.
Let's just do that. Here we go. We're coming back swinging with this. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, Skeletron is available. And if I had time, what do we got here? High heels, lo-fi. Avast and ahoy to the Mr. Machete lads. Have a good night. All right. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, we got some stuff.
Yeah,
but
Julie,
anyway,
Jim.
let's get back to Skeletron for a second. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, so
you got the hard copies there. You got the hard.
Yeah, I got 100 of them. 10 of them are going out for free promotion kind of thing. So there's 90 available. Getting lots of orders, and I apologize because I'm having a lot of other jobs that I'm doing right now. I got hired to do a graphic novel for a graphic novel art. Yeah, for a book that's already out there. That's done really, really well. And I've got a couple Lord of the Rings commissions, not for Lord of the Rings, but for people that I'm working on as well. So yeah, my orders, I got to get into there and get those orders in because everybody gets something special with their order as well. Different pictures, maybe a card that we produced of Skeletron. So it's going really well. And they'll be gone soon. As long as I think I'm going to be able to sit down tomorrow in the office. My wife and we can start getting some orders out.
Actually get it done. Actually get the goddamn thing done, eh?
Get it all done. I just finished doing character sketches for the novel that I'm doing, and I just finished the rough drafts for the Lord of the Rings stuff I'm doing. So I'm all caught up on that. Now I can sit down and have a Machete Comics day, which is good. So, technically speaking, which is really rad again, that I mentioned that is cool is that when people ask what I do now, I'm a comic book artist.
It's the best.
I'm a comic book artist with a podcast.
That is sponsored by Blue. Our friends at Blue Microphones. Look at that. Look
right
at
on.
all those things that they do. Very, very cool.
That was a great episode too. It's always good when Mr. Fitz and Todd Kerns stop by, right?
The best, just the best guys. Again, always making time for the little streams like us. So, gentlemen, we really appreciate it because they already did Toque today. Make sure you check that out. Toque every week. They actually had Ken Tizzard on today, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, and with a new record. And so they're just every Tuesday they do that. So to do that and then to come and do this, it's always cool, especially 90 minutes. So thanks, gentlemen. Always love having you on. Lots of fun stuff ahead there. We'll have them back anytime. Next, we got to do some thank yous as we go through here. So do you want to do the chat list? Do you want to thank the people in the chat?
I thought I just did. Julie Jim and Crackin' Not Stirred and High Heels Lo-Fi and
Stone One.
Yeah, Stone One. I can't bring any more up on here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to work this.
So anyways, everyone thanks on that side of it. High Heels, we had a bunch of people on the chat, so thank you for that, for tuning in there. And we have to thank our friends over at DeanBlundell.com. Every week, we got to thank them for hosting us over there. Lots of really cool shit happening over there. Make sure you check out Playoff Pricks, who Fitz was just a guest on last week when the Jets made it through the process. And I'm assuming, I think I have to host next Wednesday. I'm going to try to bug Fitz to come on because it's a Jets Habs thing. So we'll see about that. So make sure you check out Playoff Pricks over there. Even though the Leafs are out, there are other teams playing.
Yes. Also check out. I always find the Nerd Dad very entertaining as well.
Yeah, Nerd Dad's great. All the pods over there doing killer stuff. We're going to get Joe back on here as well. We've got all the guys trying to come back on here in some capacity, which Big Chris wants to come on. So Big Chris from the network wants to come on. Our buddy Mike Pongratz, we'll get him back right away as well to jump in.
Can we get him back with the Star Wars thing?
Next week for Bucketheads. It's going to be rad next week. Everyone needs to pay attention to that. We'll put the links. I put the links in the Twitter today, but we'll put them back in today because you got to check it out. It's really cool. Okay, friends. Well, that's it for a Tuesday. Make sure that you tune in every Tuesday. Next week is Bucketheads, the creators of the Star Wars Bucketheads, and we'll see you then. Good times.
It was like today was like Tongue Out Tuesday for Kiss, right?
Is that what it was?
Tongue Out Tuesday for Kiss. I forgot. No, that was like the tag. But you're right, dude. Good times.
Rad dudes. Thanks, everybody.
Peace and love.